Okay. Welcome everybody. Good afternoon. Meeting today. This is our weekly Commissioners Finance meeting. Date today, September 20th, 2023. Point hour 1:30 p.m. has arrived. Get started. We open the floor for opportunity for public comments. Do you have anybody online? No. All right. Very good. Okay, that moves us to our item number 3. We have the minutes in hand of our September 13 meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of September 13th.
I second.
It is moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, it brings us to item 4, which is the topic of discussion for today. So far, we just have one, and that is the discussion of Cumberland County financial and employment trends. Yeager and Mr. Goodhart here to brief us with a PowerPoint. So, Kevin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Commissioner. And just to introduce Brandon Yeager, Finance, and myself, Derek Goodhart, in HR. The last time we gave a financial and employment trends dashboard presentation was back in March of this year. So our presentation today will include data that includes actuals for Q1, Q1, and Q2 of 2023. So I'll turn it over to Brandon to discuss salary and benefits.
Starting with general fund salary costs, for 2023, we're projecting a 6.8 increase over 2022 actuals. And one of the major driving factors of that is the 5-factor implementation, as well as the wage scale increases, performance increases, any additional positions, filling vacancies, and department reorganizations. Moving on to percentage salary changes. This is for all non-union, non-elected employees that were formerly on the county DBM and currently on the 5-factor, to show that employees on average this year received about an 11% increase. And the actuarially determined contribution for retirement, that hasn't changed since it changed slightly since we gave the last presentation, but it's very similar to what it was at about 4.3 million this year. Moving on to Eric's, talk about staffing.
Thank you, Brandon. So next slide here, Commissioners, represents our positions here at the county. The blue and the green chart represent the number of filled and vacant positions represented on the left side of your chart. The yellow graph represents the percentage of which positions are filled. That correlates with the right side of your graph. You can see a slight increase in the total number of positions from 2022 to 2023 thus far, 1,104 positions to 1,113 positions. There is a decrease in number of vacant positions from 100 to 79, with an increase in that fill rate from 91% to 93%. I do suspect that that has to do with filling of a lot of our key positions and hard to fill positions at our prison, correctional officers, public safety, 911 dispatchers, and our children and youth caseworkers.
This is adjusted with the dissolution of the nursing home component of employment?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
This chart is Gary, yes. Moving to our next chart here, this represents applicants versus hires. And to note for this one, 2018 to 2022 represents the quarter averages. And that data does include our nursing home. Q1 and Q2 for 2023 does not for either of those. The green represents our number of applicants on the left side of your chart, and the blue represents our number of new hires on the right side of your chart. The first quarter of any year typically is higher. From an HR standpoint, typically new applicants are looking for jobs at the beginning of the year that we found in the past. And looking ahead, since the implementation of the 5-factor for calendar year 2023, January through current, We did find that August was our highest month of total applicants, for that month being 330 applicants for the month of August. Just looking ahead. The next chart represents our average quarterly turnover rates. From our last presentation, from feedback from Commissioner Eichelberger and Commissioner DiFilippo, we have incorporated private sector data represented by the gray and federal and state and local represented by the yellow and blue. It's important to note that the blue does not include education as part of that information and data from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics of the Department of Labor. Moving to our next slide here, the chart does break down Q1 and Q2 by percentages of those different divisions. Cumberland County, our organization, private sector, federal, state, and local, again, not including education in that. And I'll turn it over to Brandon for economic factors.
First economic factor is the tax base. Kathy and Kirk were here about a month ago and gave a larger presentation about the tax base. But just to show that our tax base is continuing to grow and it's staying within that 1 to 2% growth that's typical for our tax base. Moving on to CPI, historically, it's somewhere around 1 to 3%, but we're still feeling the impacts of 2021 and 2022, where the increase was up near 7%. It's come down for 23, but it's increasing slower than it had in those previous years.
This is the rate. Rate of increase.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And moving forward to our final graph today, the unemployment rate for Cumberland County still for Q1 and Q2 of 2023 still is less than that of the national average, which did slightly increase over Pennsylvania's average for Q2 of 2023. Brandon and I continue to update this data quarterly. We will continue making these presentations for the board. Again, we're hoping that this data will continue to be helpful to the board when considering county decisions. Commissioners, are there any other questions that you have for the data that we have presented today?
I have two. There, one is on page 10. The average quarterly turnover rate, what does that specifically mean? Like, I'm looking at, for example, Cumberland County, Q1 2023, it's 3.3.
Okay. So for the first quarter of 2023, approximately 3.3% of the employees left the county in one way or the other.
That's departure.
Yeah.
And on page 12, the line that's percent increase, why did not continue into 2023?
Because those first 11 years are annual, if putting
Okay.
on the line for, since they're quarterly.
Explained it, thank you. That's all I have at the moment.
Were there any other questions from the commissioners today? Just presentation.
The applicants first page. So there, we have 2 quarters there, all the rest is annualized. That raises the question, is there any seasonality to this? Because it may not be an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah, that's a great question, Commissioner. I don't think that it is, because it represents a decrease, because those are quarterly averages, and we did lose the applications from the nursing home. So the 2 charts there, graphs over on your far right, represent per quarter. So you're comparing per quarter to the quarterly averages of 2022 to 2020 or 2018.
Okay, I see. Yes, quarterly average. I get it. Okay. All right, that's fine. Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Fauci, did you have any questions?
I do not, Derek. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, commissioners, today.
Thank you, guys.
Succinct. Okay. Thank you very much. Right now, this appears to be our only topic of discussion. Unless there's anything under other business, so we'll move on to item 5, other business. Nothing. Okay, well, then we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Stand adjourned.